Well, good afternoon, family. How are you all doing today? This is the 1st of September, first of a new month. I know y'all gonna be not laboring on tomorrow's holiday that y'all gonna be folks gonna be celebrating, but do what you do, how you do it. Our sister's back, and we want to welcome her back. Sister
Yes.
Audrey Muhammad's back from her sabbatical, and I appreciate her allowing me to sit in as a gracious host and her big brother or little brother, um, to be able to fill in for her. And we're so glad she's back. She looks like she's been on vacation and been refreshed, and we appreciate that.
Yes,
So,
definitely. I appreciate you stepping in. I couldn't have picked a better person, or you
well,
couldn't have,
thank
I
you.
couldn't have been blessed with a better person to step in and take and do what need to be done. I think he did an excellent job. I'm gonna have to give you an applause,
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that.
applause
Thank you. Thank you.
because that was an excellent job. I appreciate everyone who asked where I was at, who asked if I was okay. It's been so many things was happening. It felt almost like at one point in time like the walls was falling in on
That's all.
me.
We ain't gonna never let the
But we
walls
ain't
fall
letting the
in. We
walls
got you.
fall in on us.
Nah,
And I kept saying I
nah,
needed to take some time and be back and get my mind back
right.
right and get myself together. And I'll put it like this: Allah, God put things in place that made me had to step back. You know, I had multiple deaths in our family throughout the month of July, going into August. My daughter got sick, was in the hospital for nearly a week.
Oh, wow.
She's recovering now, and she's still recovering, but she had to walk with a walker. We had to use a shower chair to help her with it. So we had to kick in fully. People that was close to me, like my sister, didn't even know for a few days.
Oh, wow.
That's how much I had to just kick in, and it was getting to be overwhelming. But God always make you take a step
That's
back.
right. That's right.
If you don't take a step back and recognize, He's gonna say, I'm gonna cause a condition to make you have to sit back and get yourself together. I was blessed during that time frame, to go to Florida and do the some leadership training, which man, it boosted my tone scale up really high.
Great, great,
It helped
great.
me to know that I ain't suffering by myself,
Right.
but it's light at the end of the tunnel.
That's right.
So I thank you all and everything. And I would just say the most inspiring things that I've had in the last couple of weeks, I'll just say this, and then we're gonna go into what we talking about today. Was I was in Family Dollar coming home from my sister's class, my MGT class, and this man stopped me, and his name is Terrence. I can't remember your last name, Terrence, but if you on here, you put your name in here. He said to me, Sister Audrey, I love watching you. You inspire me. And I was like, what's
That's
your name?
beautiful.
And I was like, he don't know that. And it came on the hill of two brothers telling me, Sister, you can't never give up the fight.
That's right.
They had just told me that outside the mosque. And I was like, okay, Allah, what is you telling me? And then followed by a couple more inspiring things that happened this past week. So I thank you all for your patience. And I'm looking forward to him having his own show.
Oh
And
man, she kicking me out, y'all.
but he ain't kicked out until he ready to leave out, because he welcome anytime to be here with me. Always welcome. And once again, thank you so much for stepping in and stepping up to the plate.
Well, we appreciate that. We hope our hopes and prayers and for your family.
Thank you.
Hopefully,
Thank you.
we know
Yes.
that Allah God will heal everything and everybody.
Yes.
And everybody will be whole, made whole again. So
Yes.
we hope and pray and give those prayers for your family. From that.
Thank you. Yes. So, what we gonna talk about today? Because we me and him we kind of threw some things back and forth with each other. Can I say the statement? I want to say that statement that when I sent to you this morning, I got up and was listening to our national webcast, which is on NOI.org. I had to throw that plug in.
Hold on a second. The VIP room with Flint Caskets. What is that?
That's Flint Caskets. That's the I can't think of his name, but he be on here watching all the time.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay. All right.
So, Julina, how are you? I'm glad you were back with us again.
Hey there, everyone. Hey, there go my son. He in here. I might have to mess with him today before I get off of here. He always know I do. But I was just telling him that I was listening to Brother Ishmael this morning, and he reminded us that we fear what we don't know. And this is why it is important for us to study so we can know how to eradicate our fears. But we only can eradicate our fears if we study and learn and get to the point to where we actually know. Not just reading it, but studying it so we can know.
Well, fear is what's driving what's going on in our community, what's going on in our country,
Mm-hmm.
what's going on in the world. You know. So, but by studying, we become less fearful because then we know or should be familiar with what it is that we're studying. So,
Absolutely.
and we have to be very careful about being pigeonholed into studying one thing. Right.
Yes.
I know people, so all you do is you study African stuff. Or that's all you do is you study African history. Well, African history is a greater worldview than any other history
There
because
you
it's
go.
been around the longest.
Yes.
There's no history, whether it's oral, it's written on cave walls, it's material that they found, people that they found, because somebody else is always digging in our sacredness.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That is as long or as old as African history. It's not. I don't care what nobody show me the documentation, because you know how I talk about what I say. Don't tell me what you think. I need you to tell me what you know.
That's
So
right.
if you have some documentation that shows otherwise, show it to me.
Right.
But since you don't, and you can't find it, and I don't care who you are, you can't find anything older than African civilizations and African knowledge and African spirituality and all these other things,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to find anything older than that. But what we are fearful of is that we're fearful that if we study, that changes the things that we're comfortable with.
Very true.
We become very fearful of something that forces us to change what we're comfortable with in our psyche, in our mind.
Yes.
So it's okay for me to stay in my little cubby hole, because if I read something that says that challenges what I think and how I operate and my little worldview, then I become fearful of it. So
that's very true. I was telling matter of fact, one of our, I don't want to call them out, but one of our viewers I see up there today, and hey everyone, and I was telling her that there was one point in time in life where I didn't like history. Mm-hmm. So I did poor in history, and I was a smart student, and my mother couldn't figure out why I was bringing home C's and D's in history class. Mm-hmm. And I was telling her that, telling the young lady, I'll call her a young lady, she'll laugh at me later on. I call her a young lady. I was telling her that I disagreed with our history, the history of slavery up to now. So I didn't want to read it, and I avoided reading it because I didn't want to read nothing about it. I even did a paper once where I had slavery took place in the early 1900s because I hated the history, so I didn't know when slavery took place. This is what I'm talking about in junior high and high school. So my mother, knowing how smart I am, she was like, something ain't right. Once she talked to me and was able to break down that barrier to where, okay, you didn't like it, but that didn't mean it didn't happen. So now let's sit up and study it so that way we can make sure it don't happen again. That was when I started saying, okay, the doors open though. It was like it opened up, and then I started reading. Right. And I started, okay, I'm liking it. And I say that because similar situation happened to me earlier today. My grandson, and it's sad. I have to say this, it's really sad. He couldn't read what he had to do in this book. And I told him to read. He said, I don't need to read it. I already know what I got to do. That was my sign. You can't read this. Mm-hmm. This is one of my little guys that's with me all the time. I didn't realize he couldn't really read. And I stopped and I made him go through it. And every time he would say the sentence, I would make him repeat it. So he repeated each sentence is like 3 or 4 times. So the first time I'm helping him. The second time I'm helping him less. Then by the time he got through, you know what he got through saying to me after I had made him do the homework and stuff for about 30 minutes. He said, you know what? I really like reading. I'm really enjoying doing this work. But it was because I took the time. I'm saying it to y'all, these parents that's out here, these grandparents, family members, we a village. Kick in. If you see somebody don't know how to read, because that might be why they're not picking up this book and not reading it. because they struggling with the words. They get to a hard word in here like an extension. Well, what does extension mean? Do you know what extension mean? If you don't know what the word extension means, stop. Go get a dictionary. Parse the word and read it and look and see what it means. Because once you get to that word extension, if you don't know what it means, the rest of that sentence ain't gonna make sense.
And
what books you brought in?
oh, this is the same ones out of the group that we put up on the list.
Look at
Ruins of Empires. I think I put that on the list from last week.
Mm-hmm.
Destruction of Black Civilization.
Mm-hmm.
The ISIS Papers.
That's what I really want.
That's the one that ISIS
yeah,
Papers.
This one right here.
This
that,
what I want. Yeah,
this
that's
one,
it. When I see, yeah, that's what I wanted to hear about the ISIS paper.
Okay, and this is a book, but this person wrote it after Dr. Ben wrote his book, The African Presence in the Americas, by Carlos Moore. He was an editor. Yeah, but yeah, we'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. The fact that you took time with your grandson,
yes,
and helped him to gain his confidence in the skill, which is really all it is.
That's it,
right? The gaining the confidence in the skill that he didn't have before because you sat there and you supported him. See, this goes back to what I said yesterday in a little birthday party, but I was talking to a few people at a birthday party, and I've said before that going back, sitting at the table, and allowing our young people, our family members, to understand that they have the confidence in order to do and be better, they can get confident in it, right? So now what we have confidence in is things that are not, I'm not saying it's not part of our culture, because even twerking, I can show people in Africa that there's a dance that's actually used, that's just where it comes from. Yes. But because of the hypersexualization that takes place here in this country, even in Africa, you don't see that. It's part of a dance that's a wedding dance in certain parts, right? And it's played with drums, and I've had the opportunity to play it before, along with the dance, and then understanding that cultural connection. The part that makes it what it is and turns into the other idea is the hypersexualization that takes place here.
Yes.
But if people understood that was really an African dance, then does it become sexualized anymore? Because it's part of a culture, right? We talked about culture last week too. Now, you gave your grandson the confidence to attack something that he wasn't willing to attack before.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Now, all of and that's, oh, I don't like math. Well, why not? Let's sit down and pick it apart until it becomes comfortable for you to now own it as yours. And now you can attack it any way you want to. Yeah. Because now it's yours and you own it. Right? That's part of the educational process. He had a fear, right? We talked about this earlier. He had a fear. So his fear was, if I read aloud and I mess up, then somebody's going to laugh at me, say you're going to make fun of me. And so therefore I'm going to feel some sort of way about them doing that, which sounds like it's happened before.
Right.
So if it's happened before, then what you've done now is essentially taking a chink in his armor, tapped it out. So now it protects him. So now I can go out and now that I know these few words, now I can start to build more on the words. And my fear of making a mistake becomes less. Right. That's all education is.
That's it.
That's all education is. And education, again, I'm going to say this a million times. Right. Not today, but I've said it a million times. Those four walls is not where education takes place.
It's not.
That just gets you a key. But most students aren't thirsty enough while they're in school to want to do what you did and how your mom helped you. I remember going to school and I used to carry a briefcase and a book bag. My book bag had my school books and my briefcase had stuff like this in it.
Oh, Lord.
So when we got to social studies and they was talking that crazy stuff, oh no. No, I got some other things that challenge exactly what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad and mom would get phone calls, not because my behavior was seen to be disruptive,
Right.
but I'm just challenging the fact that you don't know
History.
the whole thing that you're telling us. You're only giving us one piece of the propaganda that was written on purpose to make the South look good after everything that they did to African people in America. And I'm challenging that. I'm supposed to. That's what students do.
Right. Right.
And because you were uncomfortable, then
Mhm.
I'm a disruption.
Mhm, mhm.
So they told my dad I got fussed at, but I'm like, okay, I'll be back tomorrow. Same stuff. Just get him, make a phone call because you're gonna call him first thing in the morning because I'm gonna be doing the same thing. And after a while, it was like, okay, but what do you have? And I'm like, you can't just talk about one group of people that
Right.
did something to somebody else. There was other group of people inside that were being acted out as well. And we don't understand
History
that.
today.
We don't
Same thing.
understand that.
They don't
right?
understand, and it repeats itself.
Right. So if we don't understand that the
Mhm.
people that were being warred upon also warred as well, we give thanks and praises to Sister Harriet Tubman. But millions of people freed themselves by themselves.
Mhm.
We have
Yes.
documentation that she did 300. We have other people. We got the Underground Railroad, but millions of people freed themselves by themselves.
By
Millions.
themselves without it. Yep.
Without somebody
Without
conducting them, that this, that, the other. It's like, I'm
Mhm.
going to run off and go somewhere. Or in Jamaica, they created maroon societies where if you come up here to get us, we got something for you. We got
Right.
war waiting for
Right.
you. Same thing they did in Haiti, 1791 to 1804. French, you think you're going to run this? We got something for you.
Right. Right. Right.
So I get it. We don't want to really say, oh, boy, we went through such horrible, we did go through some horrible stuff, but we fought back. It's only now that we want to not fight anymore. Or did I say that? I'm sorry.
Okay, so two things I wanted to ask too. One is, why are we not fighting back? And because you're absolutely correct, we're not fighting back. Is it because we got that little handout and now we look like we can blend in?
We start some stuff now.
We blending in. So we got,
Might have to take my glasses off.
I laugh at, what's the name of that? I'm gonna get you, sucker. We laugh at the part where they talk about how they went to the fight and they all got handed jobs, and then what was his name? You know who I'm talking about? Clink. What's his name? Links. And he married to the white. He married to the white woman because he sold himself out. But that happened. That happened for real. We took the jobs so that we could get rid of the freedom that we had in our community. But another thing, and the reason why I'm bringing this part up is because I was sitting, not to bring y'all into my women's class, because we keep that sacred, but we're learning about table etiquette. When you're sitting down having dinner, where things should be placed. And
that's European. I'm sorry. No disrespect to what y'all learning, but that's a European thing.
I disagree with that, but that's okay.
Let me explain to you the reason why I say that. Because if you go to a culture and you go to go home, as men, we sit at one table. As women, you sit at another table, and the children sit somewhere else. The stuff that men have to discuss is men stuff.
Right.
The things that women have to discuss is women stuff.
Right.
And the things over there with the kids, they kids. Let them over there have their little whatever they do. And the teenagers are separated from the little children.
Right.
And so if we're talking about how, and this is my humble opinion again, because we didn't express our little
differences there.
No.
Opinion, but I'll go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish up because then I'll finish
because
up.
Because if we're worried about a table setting, that's not. Now, if I'm wrong, please tell me where it's at in Africa, because that's where I'm basing my view at. I don't remember having a table setting because you washed your hands and either used your hands or the food wasn't too hot or a spoon.
Okay,
that's what I'm. That's what.
So we had a culture before we went into Africa. We had a culture where we was into, some of that stuff. We got exiled down into some of the jungles, and we lost some of our own civility in the jungles. But I wasn't finished saying what I was saying
sorry,
about
no,
the table setting.
Go ahead.
And I
my
was
fault.
because I was talking about table etiquette. We as families, we don't sit down any longer together.
You're right.
So
I agree with that.
so I was
apologize.
going into us with our, and I was just saying that how we were talking about the proper etiquette at the table, certain things that we should do when we're at the table, you know, especially if you got guests. And this is like an entertaining etiquette, and it's something that we don't think about. But if you're going out to start to doing business ventures, you better know something about some of the etiquette, because of sometimes when you go out, you have to be able to dine. You have to be able to project yourself in the proper setting. But I was bringing it into focus and into home to where we don't have the time to sit. Little Billy go to baseball practice and don't get home to 6:30, 7 o'clock. So he ain't eating dinner at 7, whereas somebody else in the house done already ate at 4:30, 5 o'clock. So we're not sitting down like we properly should and have a dinner together to where we can have some discussions with, especially with our children and with our families.
But that has happened because of a couple things. Mm-hmm. And you're right about table etiquette and being able to go. I get you. But what's happened is we've decided to become super busy.
Yeah.
And no longer make the focus of family anymore.
That's it.
Okay.
That's
it. So okay. Now, so if we haven't Billy got baseball practice from 5 to 6:30, at 4 o'clock we need to be eating.
Yes.
We all need to be eating. And if one party or the other party's not at home, whether it be the husband or the wife not at home, whoever's home
should be
the one you
eating.
Sit down there running the family so that everybody can eat. We all sit down and eat at 4. Now I got a plate for you. Now I have a plate for the other adult that's not there. So if I'm home early and we eating at 4,
that's right.
You got to be at practice, so you need to be done by 4:30, 4:45. Get your stuff together so we can get you to practice on time. And then when you come back, I need to see homework.
Exactly.
But so we have allowed another cultural idea to come in and disrupt what we used to do.
Right. I agree. I definitely agree.
It's incumbent upon the parties that are supposed to be in charge of the household. You say it one more time. The parties that are supposed to be in charge of the household, those are the ones who set the rules and parameters for what happens in the house.
Exactly.
Period. That's it. Now, there's going to be exceptions. I get it.
Right. But
it shouldn't be consistent that out of 7 so-called days of the week, we're not sitting together at least 4 of those days.
Right. Exactly.
If it's come and do what you want to, then later on that young person's going to be, I can just do what I want to.
And at the very least, have one of those days, a Sunday dinner together, at least. Because I understand sometimes you have mom work first shift, dad works second shift. So you got that, or in a household, you got something. But at least, like you say, strive harder to make it at least those 4 days. But if you can't do but one day, make it a strong, good 1 day a week. I just, I miss, just thinking 15 years ago, since my mother made her transition. But before that, if nothing else, you knew Sunday there was dinner at her house. She had a full meal that was gonna be cooked. Some of my nephew friends say, "Dang, I miss Miss Young. You come, baby, go and get you a piece of chicken or something out of there. Get you a piece of cake or something."
Right.
We don't have those dinners, but we knew every Sunday, my sisters and all of us, we always at my mom's house. That's where dinner was. Nothing hook or crook. You might bring a dish over, but that's where dinner was at. At mom's house.
But that's the loss that we've had of the community, because we've decided again that we wanted to be like another group. That's not who we are.
Yep.
Because I'm gonna say what I just said again. Having gone to Africa and been able to travel there a couple times, we sit at one table. Y'all sit at another table.
Yep.
The children sit, the teenagers sat at another table, and the little kids sat somewhere else.
Right. Yes, sir.
And what we discuss as men got nothing to do with y'all discuss as women.
As women, that's right. That's
and the
right.
kids is over there, and it's our job and responsibility to take care of them because they have not come to adulthood yet.
Yes.
But I'm not interested in knowing what y'all doing. That's y'all stuff.
Right.
And it's none of your business what we're talking about.
Exactly. And I think a lot of us miss that. You know, we miss out on that. That's one of the good things I love beyond just that part. But at Ramadan time, when we go out to the masjid or to the mosque and we have iftar together,
right.
The women are in one room with the children. The older boys and men are in a totally different room and in a different space. Some people who are not in that culture don't understand that, and it's kind of hard for them to grasp that. But they don't understand that that's how things used to be anyway.
That's how, because
right.
It's not. I don't care how it sounds.
Religion.
It's
right.
not important.
Right.
For me to know how you run the house.
That's right.
My job is just to go out there and get the necessary means for you to do that part. Your job, if we got it like that, is for you not to work. And your job is to take care of the house and the kids.
Right.
It's not your job for me to do that. No. No. It's only over here where we've lost our focus as family. What family is anymore. I was raised where my dad worked and my mom took care of home. And if dad came home and found out that mom wasn't pleased with us, here come the battleship. And we weren't trying to hear that.
We weren't trying to hear it. No.
You know what I'm saying? We weren't trying to hear that.
Right.
It was, huh? Come here, let me talk to you. And we didn't, and it wasn't, we set our homework on the table, and it didn't matter what time he came in. It was, I'm tired, I'm not going to look at it. Okay, you missed this part right here. And I didn't know how he did it. Right. I really didn't.
Man.
I was like, I had no clue how he worked 20-hour days, took whatever time he did, found I had mistakes, my brother made mistakes, my sister made mistakes, and all that schoolwork, went to sleep, got back up at 4 o'clock, and went right back in the foundry again every single day that he had to do that. I had no clue. Superman, for real.
Yep. Sometimes you do. You wonder how they made it. And now I think about
they had an agenda.
They had an agenda
for us. Now we don't have an agenda for nothing.
But you know what? And even on that other side where you had the single moms that was at home, seemed like they just did so much more than what our single.
They also had help. They just wasn't single moms by themselves. Not like this isolated stuff that we have now.
No.
So what we have now is this isolation where you can't, those are my children, you can't touch them, you can't do nothing with them, and I don't need your help, and I got this figured out. But you don't. You don't have it figured out.
You had more villages back in the day, I'll say that.
We had more villages. We had community back in the day. We had community. So therefore, Dr. Free lived in the same building we did. And if I got sick or my kids got sick, hey, babe, you got to make Doc a plate because he getting ready to come over here and take a look at the kids and give us medicine. It wasn't until we made the decision, or the decision was made for us, that we could go and leave our communities and leave our villages and go live in somebody else's village, that we lost that. And start to fall apart. That's when that happened. They were very clear. The other society was very clear that when you all want to live with us, we got something for you. You want to move in with, you want what you think you want what we got? Well, we got something for you. And what we're seeing now is what we got when we decided that we wanted to no longer be where we were together at. Now we want to live out there because we figure their water is colder than our water.
Absolutely. And guess what? They suffer the same kind of ills that we have in our community.
I don't care.
No. I'm not. That's not what I'm. That's not why I'm. But that's not where I'm finna go with that. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because we have to stop beating ourselves up because we think that we doing poor than somebody else's as far as the social issues. That's why I'm saying that, because I'm just gonna tell you, I'm working in a all white community and school district where I'm the darkest thing going in the building, the darkest thing rolling. And I'm telling you, some of the ills and the issues that I'm seeing with the mothers, the families in that community is like what I see at home in our community. But the difference is that we don't know that because we not in there in that particular community. And I say that because it was something else that Brother Ishmael said today. I said to me because I've been trying to figure it out. We like to beat up sometimes on our youth. Y'all don't do this. They're a different kind of children than what we are. It's our responsibility to make sure that we try to help curtail them into the right way that we want them to be. So, like when you got a child, these babies these days, they fearless. They don't fear. So what you gonna call the police? I don't care. So what you gonna do this? I don't care. They don't fear stuff the way our fathers and mothers fear them. You could say you call the police. They gonna get straight if you say you call him Mr. Joe from around the corner. That was the white man. They would get scared. But our children today were made specifically for what we need them to be like right now. The ones before was made for what they needed to be made like right now. One thing I heard Dr. Ridgely, one of my guests that I had on here, one time he said, it was a brother that kept saying, but brother, these people, they don't do this, they don't do that, do the other. He said, okay, brother, I'm going to give you an example. And Dr. Ridgely got me by some years. He said, when I got married, the cost of a house, the cost of a car, we could afford it on one income.
Right.
Today, the way things cost and what we expect, like you said, we made those changes. You got to have two incomes to make it happen. You can't make it on just one income. We don't know how to live within our means of having a single income to survive. We think the only way we can survive is that we can trip, we can ball, we can go out, we got to do this, we got to do the other. But we're not trying to live within those realms. So you got to think about it. What took a household to run back then is not the same as what it takes. Society, times have changed because it's like it's like a top that's spinning, and we at the point where it's spinning real fast because it's about to come to a halt.
So if we look at, listening to that statement, if you have a couple that have an agenda for what it is that they want, okay, I want you to stay home. I make enough to cover the bills, whatever. And then anything extra, you put up. Well, I got it. Sometimes your nails ain't going to get done. Sometimes your hair ain't going to get done. As long as the refrigerator's full, the lights on, the water's run, you ain't got to worry and the rent's paid or the mortgage is paid or whatever.
Yep.
That balling out stuff is somebody else's propaganda stuff.
There you go. That's it.
That stuff that they put on MTV Cribs and this and that and other, and all that other stuff that let you see a group of people that they're allowing to look like they balling out, but that they want to put that stuff in our heads. And okay. So, and even when we talk about how young people are no longer have a fear, you don't have to have a fear, but you will have a respect. I don't need you to fear me, but I do. You are going to respect me. And it's not just that. Well, you got to respect him too. No, he a kid. I'm gonna respect him as his humanity. But what he is not going to do is think he running stuff here.
I agree with that.
So we've gotten out of pocket. Yeah, we've gotten out of pocket with the fact that, number one, I'm gonna love you because you are who you are. Right. Sometimes the love may be a little. Oh, wait, you kind of roughed him up. Well, I can do that with him because he can take it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not out of, because as a teacher and as a man, I may get on the kid's head, but at the same time, I'm gonna be the first one. Come here, man. You my guy. I need you.
Right.
Right. So there's more than just you kid ain't this, ain't that, ain't the other. Because the other part about that is if our homes are not fractured, and we don't have fear of the things that we have fear of, learning things, studying,
Right.
all the other stuff, because all this is about community.
Mm-hmm.
I should be able to come over your house and I need you to work with my daughter on some woman stuff or whatever. Hey man, I ain't got time. I need you, go see Uncle Mick. Go, you got to go over there with Uncle Mick for a little bit. Meanwhile, I might have to go and pull plumbing or whatever.
Right.
But if we have a community, we solve those issues amongst ourselves.
Right.
And I agree that sometimes we beat ourselves up. And we clear that the other group has got their issues. I ain't concerned about them and their issues. I'm concerned about us and ours. We're the oldest group of people on the planet. We've already had everything that we need laid out before us. But we ain't doing no reading. We ain't trying to figure it out. We ain't trying to study. One sister, I think I've had about 6 copies of this book, right? Who really, he lays out what happened in our civilization for us to have these downfalls and how we got to be splintered.
Right.
But it's also happened in our own small community, even in this country, where somebody else's morality or immorality was what people wanted to be part of. And then when you see that's not going to work, it's too late.
Right.
We don't have people in our own community that don't have our best interests here.
They don't.
Whether it be so-called leaders working out, none of them do. They're all about themselves. At the end of the day, they're not here or there or talking to people for the people's interests.
They're not
there for that. They're there for, I'm serving my own needs. Like I said, right? You can make an announcement and in 24 hours, you get $80 million. And I don't know, people got your Cash App? Because I ain't got $5 on my Cash App from nobody that's been here learning from what we've been laying down.
But that was a trick, though, to me. I mean, because what he talked about when Kamala Harris raised that was
$80 million in
like
24
hours from the Divine Nine. You know what I'm saying? The different, but my thing, because we did talk about it, I didn't understand why is the black colleges struggling? If you can raise $90 million, why you couldn't go do that for the black colleges? You know what I'm saying? Why you didn't do
black businesses? Help us out.
Why couldn't you not get we've been talking about picking up, buying it, give us a building, whatever. Okay, well, I'm saying this. We need $500,000 to buy one of these buildings here. Ain't nobody's calling and sending in no donations on none of the shows that you put on saying this is for the building fund. For real, because we're going to do something with it for real. See what I'm saying?
I mean, because you do have to understand a lot. And that to me was the trick when they said, when she raised $80 million, who was it that donated? We don't know if it was a check, Gabe.
Yeah. Well, but that's political propaganda. But that goes back to, once again, being informed, right? Studying, learning stuff, knowing stuff, paying attention to trends, right? So, with your grandson now empowered with reading, he got to keep it up because it's only going to do nothing but get more and more difficult the higher he goes, because they're going to do that on purpose. Because it's always about tripping us up in some way, shape, or form.
And that's where the responsibility. You can't expect. I'm just gonna say it. You cannot expect the school system, public schools, to teach your children right. They don't feed you right. They ain't gonna teach you right.
It's not their job. It's not their job. It is not the job of the lion to feed the hyena. It is not the job of the lion to feed the hyena. It's not their job. It's our job. So we should be more difficult and more harder on ourselves, because steel sharpen steel, iron sharpen iron.
Right, right.
If he know that I'm supposed to be studying, if Uncle Mick know that I'm supposed to be studying, I'm not. He's supposed, hey man, you supposed to do that.
Accountability
That's
partners.
called being accountable. If you have children, you're accountable to your not your fun. Your fun is over.
Yeah, but we gotta look at it. I get what you're saying, but just like how you had to go to school, we still had to go to that.
Still had to go to school.
So, but I get what she's saying on this. Like you're not gonna expect them to still train your kids. So you do when they do have to come home, you still got to do it. I get what exactly.
You still have to teach.
But when you're in America, you go into their school system.
Yeah,
you know what
unless
I'm saying?
You're willing to be you know, unless you're willing to say we're going to support something different.
But until we get, but that goes back to I get what actually Sister Audrey saying. Until we get, because we go into that, we don't own no school. No. That's why I said this last week. We are consumers. Yeah. Until we own, ultimately, until we get out, like all these abandoned schools. Why the family ain't got together to get one when we can't?
Can't have one. So that's where when I studied. Okay, I'm just taking because I started on my doctorate program in education. I started out with higher education, and then I went back and said, no, I want to go back and get my doctorate degree for early education. And one of the things that I learned in there was how the Montessori schools started up and how the Catholic schools started up. Their system, though they teach their children in a different manner than you learn in the regular public schools. Their program and their curriculum expectations are different. They had to fight. They had to go to court. Some went to jail in order to get those established. The Nation of Islam, we have our own school system. Do we learn the basics? We learn the basics, but we also learn so much more than just what you learn in the regular public schools. It's the Hegels, the Deweys, and the Kants that want to make sure that every person that goes to their school learn to think like a white Protestant male, and it's in their books. That's what they want you to be, to think like a white Protestant male. When Brother Ishmael was talking today, he also talked about when we go to colleges, are we going to colleges to learn how to build a business for ourselves? Or are we going to college to learn how to manage their businesses? Yeah, that's it. That's what we're doing. Absolutely. So in order for you to be able to have a child or somebody to grow in to learn how to build a business, we got to first start how to learn how to make a business for ourselves. And then we as a community, I'm talking about us as a village. I may have great business ideas, but I don't know how to make them manifest. What about you who know how to make a manifest? Can we get you to come in and help those who don't know how to make the businesses manifest? Quit being afraid that I'm going to steal your business and that I'm going to go. Now, there was something that I saw there on looking on Facebook. You go down the bread aisle. How many different bread company names do you see up there making bread that's on the shelf? Those people ain't afraid of the competition because they know that they going to have somebody who going to like them better than they like the other, or like the other better than they like another one. Quit being afraid of teaching others how to help build themselves up. This is why another reason why our community is not progressing. We've had a program in the nation where we called it, we had we had where you can invest money, the economic blueprint. And it was a blueprint that was given out to where you could sit up and actually make that happen on a smaller scale, on a larger scale. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad asked us to give a nickel a day. And he said how much money it would cost us in a year. But if you got me giving only $20 a year, if you got 1 million people giving $20 a year, that's $20 million that you could use to help build something and build something in your community. No, we don't have a 20 million people here, but guess what? I bet we all could give more than $20 a year. Yeah, why are we not doing that to invest? We have learned how to distrust one another and not move stuff forward. Some of that come from us, some of us not being trustworthy. But we've learned how to distrust those who are just striving hard to do something that's right. We look at the smallest moat that they have and make it be a mountain. That's it. What can we do?
I disagree with that. Well, first and foremost, the first thing that we have to do is we have to if you have a plan and you have an idea, there's got to be some stringent rules in place in order to make sure things don't get taken because somebody, oh, that's a great idea. I'm not going to act like it is. And I'm going to go and take it and I'm going to go make more. We've seen that over all of the patents that Black people have had taken from them, stolen from them across the board in the whole world. Right. But at the end of the day, we don't have anybody. I must say this again. I'm not concerned about another community. I'm only concerned about mine. And there will be people that are going to be foul and they're going to do stuff. Well, you know, there are ways to take care of them, deal with them as well. But man, we've got to be willing to do that. Got to be willing to do that. But at the same time, we still have to work at building trust amongst each other in order to make it happen.
Exactly.
Whether it be somebody selling keychains, somebody selling pencils, somebody, I don't care what it is. But the other part about that is if we don't start to manufacture anything.
Exactly.
We don't, because we're consumers of everything, which was done by design and on purpose. Because Dr. Booker T. Washington was talking about, he said, cast down your buckets where you are. In Atlanta Exposition speech of 1895. That means build your stuff. I don't care about what you call me. You still got to come and get my bricks because I got the best bricks around.
Yep.
And I don't care if somebody else got bricks by mine. They're not going to outlast mine. You already know that. Bring your money here.
Right.
You got to bring your money. So, okay, well, he got bricks over there too. Okay, you can go get his. He sell his for a nickel cheaper than mine. Go ahead. But when your building fall down, because they will, you're going to be right back over here getting these bricks. I'll wait on you. Now the price went up 7 cents. But it was a nickel last week. Well, you know, you waited. You missed the deal. But I still got the best bricks.
And Tuskegee Institute produces the largest amount of bricks in that particular area.
From a formula that he designed. Back in the early 1900s.
I thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for having Holy Day of Atonement, the Million Man March anniversary. I think it was 2013 in Tuskegee, and he talked highly of it, and it gave us the history of that with the brick making before the event, and then even afterwards, and had us to go and read and study a lot of that on there for they were very helpful in helping you all dispel some fear, which is what we talked about before, because you had to study. But here's the other part about that. We should be motivated to study to remove those fears ourselves. And most of the time we're not. Most of the time we're okay. Uncle Tom.
Well, who?
Who they call Uncle Tom? Did they call him?
Who? Some people try to call him Uncle Tom.
That's you know, and that's part of the reason. I'm just saying that because that's part of the reason why some people stop listening to what everybody else saying. Go read it for yourself.
Listen, because he got 2 books they came out with: Up from Slavery and Working with the Hands. He wrote in 1904. He in that book talks about how, I didn't mean to cut you off. My apologies. Talks about how the being industrial and industrious is going to get you out of this situation.
That's it. If you've never visited the Institute down there, I would say go down there and definitely do a tour. It's very humbling. You learn we learned so much. We stayed over a day and went back to take a tour because we wanted to see it, where he did see his burial site, see where George Washington right next beside him. Right over there. Yep, right over there. Got the little bench and stuff there. It was a very eye-opening experience for myself and one of the sisters. Like I said, we stayed over because we wanted to go back down and even going to the Tuskegee. I know we're getting close to time. Even going down to the Tuskegee to the Airmen's Museum.
Tuskegee Institute.
It was very humbling.
Air Corps, right?
Yes, very, very humbling.
My father was a Tuskegee.
I'm reading what you're saying, Sister Drulina.
Yeah, she's from New York.
Is she? Okay, from the Bronx. Okay, got you. Yep. Yes.
So I mean, at the end of the day, we can be very clear that other groups have
Mhm.
issues and situations,
Mhm. Mhm.
but I don't really care about that.
No. No. No.
Because the thing is, at the end of the day, I'm responsible for me and our group. That's what I'm
Mhm. Mhm.
responsible for.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we know that if we look at the statistics, that the people that are on social welfare are not us.
Right.
They want to say that it's us through the propaganda. They want
Mhm.
to say that we're the most, but it's not us.
Right.
Because that whole set of ideas when it came out in the New Deal in the 30s wasn't meant for us to be part of anyway. We just
Right.
learned how to use that part of the system in
Mhm.
order to get through tough times like everybody else did.
Right. Exactly.
But as we become more, as they continue to change the rules and the laws, we better be relying on Uncle Mick and Auntie Audrey. That's who we never better be we relied on instead of worried about if I can do this over here on my own and this, that, and that, because doing it by yourself, it's not gonna happen.
True.
They want that. It's okay for you to be isolated.
True.
That's cool. As long as you isolate, you easy person for me to worry about, not have to worry about.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
But if we start working together and
It's that, yeah.
That's the
then
question I wanted to ask, bro. How do we get back to that though? That's the question.
we just have to learn how to, like, look, if you come over my house, you have access to anything that I have here, right?
Mhm.
And I'm gonna trust that you take care of it like I would.
Right.
And if you don't, I'm gonna have a discussion with you. And then if you decide that you want to do something different, but I'm inviting you in my house,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
I remember a young man one time, I was working at Job Corps and he saw a picture of my daughter. Man, I'll just come over. I said, no, you won't. Well, I got what you got. I said, see, that's where we get, and this is that fear thing that you're
Mhm.
talking
Mhm.
about, right? When you mention that, where our young people don't have fear. So why do you think you're going to come in my house to see my daughter and think that you're going to bring something in to do something to me in my house with my daughter? So now that you put me on notice, when you pull up, I'm gonna just do you. It shouldn't even be that type of conversation. It should be, Miss McCants, that's your daughter. I find her, attractive. I want to talk to her. Do you mind if when she comes home, when she comes over, that I come and visit? I can respect that. That's respectable. Not you
Mhm.
tell me you're gonna come over and do what you want to do anyway.
Right.
Because then as men, there's that now you've raised my level of okay, I got you up now. And it shouldn't even be that way. So
Yeah.
we have to learn how to say, man, you want to read a well, I ain't gonna put my books up there. Y'all got to
Mhm.
come to my library and read my books in my library because I won't let them get checked out anymore because too many people have taken them and didn't return them. And some
Right.
of them are very, very valuable.
Mm.
Right.
Okay. But I'm gonna trust you enough to be able to allow you into my house. And I'm gonna
Mhm.
trust you enough that you respect what I say. Hey, that's what put it back on the shelf. And when you come back the next time, it's gonna be there. And I'm gonna cook dinner so we can eat and fellowship. We don't fellowship anymore. We just kick it.
Mm-mm. We kick it.
We're just kicking it. Because
Mhm.
fellowshipping means that if I know what's going on in your family and what's going on in your family, I'm there for y'all.
Mhm.
Oh, my kid's not doing, man, send your kid over here. I got him. Well, how much it's gonna cost? We'll talk about that.
Right.
But it's about building those relationships. Because
That-
everybody always act like they want to have to get something out of it that they don't necessarily deserve or didn't ask for.
Mhm.
Well, I'm just gonna take it because he let me in. I'm just gonna go ahead on it and take the whatever I
Mhm.
want. Oh yeah, he ain't gonna miss it.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's wrong.
Yeah. I know one of the things I always say, I'm blessed financially with my career. I'm blessed financially. I'm blessed with that. And so a lot of times I will offer a volunteer, but I don't know if people, I think people think that everybody wants something from you because they volunteer or give their time of their services. Not everyone do it. Some people do it because that's their business. Not knocking that. But not everybody wants to volunteer their time because they're looking for the financial or it's a status claim or something like that in return. Some of them people around here still do some stuff out of the goodwill of just wanting to
who they are.
help.
Right. Well, see, what happens with that though is people will take advantage of that person, because if they're doing it for free, I'll take it and do it for free instead of sitting around there worried about, okay, well, if I got to pay, or if I'm paying for it, I'm expecting. And I've had this happen to me as a tutor.
So I'm gonna say something to that. That's where you got to know where to make your limitations, because I'm one who that have happened to. So being a sister, we was talking the other day. So I don't hide that I do a lot of studies through the Church of Scientology. I don't hide that. Now, if you tell them you doing studies, they will call you every day and hold you accountable. Like, it'd be annoying if you don't answer, they calling you back again. I told her I had to train the one that's with me, that's helping me. He know I'm gonna get my work done. He don't call me every day, but you have to learn how to train those around you, how to treat you. And once you teach them how to treat you, you ain't gonna have that problem. So just because I say I love you and I'm gonna help you and I'm a volunteer and I'm gonna be there to help you, don't take advantage of it, because Sister Audrey will put you in check real quick, or she will say, I can't. I won't do it. I had to learn how to do that, because I had a hard time telling people no.
Right.
Now I don't have a problem with telling you I ain't got the time. Nope, I don't think I'm gonna make it. I can't do it. And people were so used to me showing up, like, it ain't like Sister Audrey not to show up. I had to do that for myself, for my own sanity. I love you, but when Sister Audrey says she can't go, she ain't rolling. Because I done been sick trying to help everybody else out, and I have been disappointed by not having those people that I assist, expecting that they're going to do the same thing in return to me, and it don't happen.
Never does.
It just don't happen. That's from family and from friends.
Right. It never
I
does.
expect that if I'm going to call you and be there with you and help you out, I expect you're going to do that same thing for me. But all the time it doesn't happen. And this is still a lot of folks who will, but there's still those ones who don't. I went to a point where I said they just being selfish. I don't know if that's being selfish. I don't know exactly what to call it, but from my view, it look like it's selfishness. Somebody's constantly helping you, and you don't have a few moments to help and assist them.
You ain't got to look at it like that. That's what it is.
I'm like, come on, let's be for real. Yeah, and it's one thing to say, okay, you know what, you got busy, you couldn't help. But just on a regular basis, you don't. So that's why I say, me helping you, if I offer you something to you and say, I'm not looking for nothing, trust me.
But see, the other part about that should be whether you say not offer it or not, offer it anyway. And if you return it, then that's on you.
That's okay, yes.
Yeah, but at least offer. There are people that want that. Oh, well, you're gonna tutor my. No, if I tutor you after school hours, you gotta pay.
Yeah,
you gotta pay. But my time is valuable and precious.
Right, exactly. Right.
My time is valuable and precious to me, just like it is for you.
Right.
And
exactly.
there are people that if I tutor, I may say, it's this much for whatever time, and then if I choose to run over,
right, that's on you.
That's my choice.
That's on
you. But there are other people I know. If I give you 45 minutes, just 46 minutes. Gonna cost you another 45 minutes worth of time.
Right. Because people do have a tendency to take advantage of it. I was reading. I'll just say this. I know we're getting ready to shut down. It's something we can talk about at another time. One thing, and let's think about it. This new school, this new math, this new everything they got in school.
Let me explain to you what that is real quick. All it is about somebody teaching somebody how to think about a problem instead of keeping it simple. Right? I've seen a couple of those problems, and I'm like, so they'll ask you, how many different ways can you get 18? Let's just say, as an example. How many different ways can you get 18? Well, for most of us, 9 times 2, and that's it. 6 times 3, 9 times 2, 18 times 1, whatever. But they don't want that. You got to put down 15, 20 different, which is a good way to think about it. But typically, what education is Here's a problem. How do I solve it?
Mm-hmm.
Now here's a problem. How many different ways can I solve it?
Mm-hmm.
And I struggle with that
Mm-hmm.
because it's about get it done. And as men, I think sometimes we like that too. Just get it done. Here, I give you 3 different ways. Now let's go to the next problem. I'm not trying to do 26 minus 8 and 35 minus 17 and all these other different ways in order to solve this problem, because then you've made me waste 7-8 minutes on one problem, giving you 25 different ways to solve it, but I have 50 more questions to do and I got to be done in an hour.
Right.
And then when the scores come and then look, you only got 2 problems finished, but I got 2 problems finished thoroughly, but you didn't get 48 of them done because I wasted all of this time doing these multiple different ways to solve these problems. It's crazy.
So reason why I'm asking that is this. Well, my daughter's 34. And when she was in junior high, she struggled with math. I excelled in math. So when she brought her math homework, I'm going to tutor you because I know how. She said, Mama, that ain't the way we supposed to do it. Okay, fine. That's cool. So I contact her school and say, hey, look, can you help me? I know math. I'm trying to figure out what is it that you want her to do, because she can't explain it to me because she ain't understanding what you're talking about. And the only way I can explain it to her is the way that I was taught. So I go to the school and I said, okay, can we take a book home so I can work with her? Well, we can't let you take a book home. So we got to figure out a problem, the way we can take care of some. We can take care of some of that.
End of the day, our solving our problems, like even what the principles of Kwanzaa talk about. Solving our problems depends upon us and not anybody else. Solving our problems, solving our issues is about what we need to do.
Right.
How do we solve our problems? How do we solve our issues? There used to different club. I don't care what it is. If somebody comes up with a, hey man, we got a club where we can go to and we can do. We got clubs for everything else.
Yep.
We ain't got book clubs no more. We used to have one when I'm gonna probably restart it eventually pretty soon. But we used to have a book club. We talked about not only text, but also different ways we can solve different stuff in our communities. And those things inspired other people to do stuff.
Right.
Right. We need, if it's an education club, I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
We need to really start working at putting things together. And it's not hard.
Right.
There's plenty of space. Whether it be at somebody's house, whether it be at the library, whether it be at McDonald's, I don't care where it is. Schools.
Do they still have teen clubs like they used to have?
No.
Okay.
That's dead. That's been gone.
I thought it was. I thought it was.
That's been gone.
Probably when we was gone all the way.
Definitely when we were in the so-called middle school.
Right. So yep. Yeah, you're right. It's just, oh my gosh.
At that point you had people who were vested in the community. Helping the community, and it was called the Community School Initiative. And in the Community School Initiative, those are the people that did the extra work to help out. And then if stuff got sent home, you have people at home.
Right.
Help you out.
Right, exactly.
Now I'm living my best life. I ain't living, no. If I live, no. That's dead. Your best life you should have did before you had a child. And that's on both sides, men and women.
Right.
Both parents are responsible for the children, not just one.
That's true. That's very, very true. We got to get back to community.
Yeah, we have to get back to community, which is what I was going to talk about today. I don't know whether you're going to show up or not, but we're glad you're here.
Yes.
So we talked about a few different things. We talked about education. We talked about fear. Stop being scared, folks. Go learn some stuff. Learn some new things.
Yes, definitely.
Add things to your learning. You know, you all can call in. What maybe, I don't know. Can they call in over here? No,
we got to get a phone. I'll be getting on that.
Okay, so then that'd be great when that happens. If folks can call in and get advice, and we turn it into a cultural talk show.
Who knows? We might make that happen for next week.
Hey man, why don't y'all send some donations for us to get a phone?
Yeah.
line, since y'all want to donate to some other
Cash
stuff.
App, $810 News Media Group. Y'all pass
There
them
you go.
donations on in.
Right.
We
Send us a quick $80 million so we can grab.
yeah,
a
y'all
building.
come on, give them to us. Give them to us. I want to get ready to close. I know we closing out. I want to say something that I got a chance to, Patrice Moore, ain't that Dr. Buckles' grandma? This morning, she put something on Facebook, and I was like, girl, would it be okay if I just said what you put on Facebook? Because I wanted to be respectful for her. She put on here, I'll forever be the problem because I don't let people say and do whatever they want to me. And when she said it, I was like, dang, that makes sense. That's that accountability. You got to make sure people respect you. You train people how they supposed to handle you.
And that's just boundaries.
That's boundaries. That's setting those boundaries. That's setting those boundaries.
You can come over and be at home, but don't eat up everything in the refrigerator.
There you go.
Because it ain't all your stuff.
There you go.
Now, if you making contributions, that's cool. But if you're not, respect the rules of the house.
Right. The golden rules. That's right.
Yeah, that's all.
Right. Anything else before we close out today? We had a great show today. What y'all think? I think we had a great show. It feels good to be back. It feels good to be back.
Yeah, we're glad you're back. We're glad everything is
going good.
Going well, and your family's progressing and getting better.
Yes, definitely.
We'll definitely continue to keep you all in our prayers.
Thank you.
We appreciate you all very much. Well, I appreciate you allowing me to sit in your spot.
And I appreciate
Miss Winters, she fusses at me about sitting in her chair too. We love you too, baby girl.
Yes. So we'll see you all again then next week, 5:00. All right.
If she invite me, I'll be here.
He can be here soon. I got some other people that done made some contacts with me. I wasn't just off without people talking to me. But we'll talk about that later on. They'll be able to get a chance to come on at some point in time. But until next week, though, you're my co-host, Elliott McCants.
Here we go.
There we go. Starting us stuff. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Do something well for yourself.
That's right. Take care of yourself. And peace.